Watanabe Shinichiro has always set the gold standard for anime originals. Carol and Tuesday inspired thousands to chase their dreams of being artists, even if the odds are stacked against them. Space Dandy broke the bounds of 2D animation and traditional storytelling through fourth wall breaks, anthological storytelling, and a shit ton of crack cocaine. Cowboy Bebop set the standard for a generation for what the perfect anime should be. It was so good that you were automatically outed as a poser if you said it was your favorite anime. You know, it had the same effect as someone saying, well, my favorite rapper is actually Kendrick Lamar because I understand art. Or my favorite movie is Pulp Fiction because I have taste. I also love stroking my shit while staring at myself in the mirror. So when I heard His Majesty was coming back with another anime original and the trailer looked like this,
Who the hell are those people?
We call ourselves Lazarus.
me and many others thought we were going to get ourselves our own Cowboy Bebop in the Big 25. But I realized that was the wrong expectation to have. Because if you expected a variety of disconnected short stories, all with vastly different ideas and tones, you're not going to get that. If you expected the same cast, where each character had their own fleshed out struggles and layered backstories, you're not going to get that. If you see Lazarus as a show trying to live up to the reputation of one of the greatest anime of all time, you're going to be disappointed. But instead, you should be here for the style, the flair, the high-octane choreography and action, and, of course, the vibes. So imagine if there was a pill you could take that completely relieved you of any physical pain forever. Now imagine if you knew that drug was completely devoid of side effects and that you could buy a big bottle of them for $3.99 at your local CVS. I don't know about you, but I'm gonna start crushing those fuckers and snorting them like they're gonna give me superpowers. That also happens to be what the entire world thought in Lazarus. And when I say entire world, I mean entire. Men, women, children of all ages were popping pills like that one granny from Requiem for a Dream. I mean, from an outsider's perspective, this whole situation screams suspicious. So the big brain researcher who made this drug disappears for 3 years until one day he comes back to announce, so yeah, I just really hate humanity, and you know that drug that you guys consume more often than water? Yeah, everyone who's taken it will drop dead in 30 days, and only I have the cure. Now I'm gonna go hide, and we're gonna play hide and seek on a global scale, and if you can't find me, say bye to anyone and everyone you've ever loved. Toodles. Now the world's in a fucking panic, scrambling to find an old man who probably can't even walk properly. Governments begin creating all sorts of teams and schemes to solve this conundrum. We've got the Suicide Squad and the Suicide Squad. Oh fuck, the name's Lazarus, a ragtag team of highly skilled individuals hand-selected by the government, one of them being a criminal with a sentence of 888 years. Who the fuck are you sentencing? Yoda? No, but actually, when the recruiters in these shows look for people to complete very important government missions that hang innocent lives in the balance, their first thought is somehow to start scouting the local prison. I'm sorry, if this was real life, the best you're gonna find is probably Devante with a 10+ booty count. We've got the cocky dude that'll steal your girl who is unreasonably good at everything, the white lady with assets. Oh my god, please don't kick me. I would absolutely hate it if you stared at me in disgust as I fell down. A twink, an e-girl, and a black guy. This is the lineup you'll see on every homepage of every college website ever. So the show is essentially a wild goose chase where there is an overarching goal, but most of the episodes have their own little contained stories with beginnings and endings, kind of like the episodic nature of Cowboy Bebop. We witness all kinds of settings, scenarios, and missions these characters have to carry out, which makes for an incredibly stylistic and visual experience. One episode we could be hopping across buildings in the city, the next out at sea on an oil rig fighting a bunch of sukabiets, or maybe scuba diving in the tropics, or catching sex offenders at a high-rise nightclub that's filled with a plethora of flashing colors. There's just about everything. But that's where the criticism of this show really starts to dig its dick inside. Lazarus prioritizes how cool it looks a lot. From the minimalist color scheme of the opening to the jazzy and EDM-y soundtrack to the heavily over-the-top action sequences that scream, "This is cool." Many believe that this is all a cover-up for a poorly written show. Counterproposal, what if the substance is how cool it is? So what if the story isn't the most mind-blowing? So what if the characters aren't as deep or fleshed out as the cast of Cowboy Bebop? So what if you can't write a 5-page single-spaced essay about a cartoon? You know, some people aren't jobless. What if the point is just to enjoy the atmosphere? See the characters do cool shit, while also trying to solve an interesting mystery in a hypothetical dystopian setting. There's this notion that has existed in the world of media for as long as media has existed, that for any piece of art to be considered good, it has to fulfill a very specific set of checkboxes that critics just love to touch themselves to. For movies and shows, it has to be intricately written characters and narratives with deeper meanings and themes. For music, it has to be innovative chord progressions, layered instrumentation, complicated lyrics, or some other sign of depth that justifies its existence. But since when was a piece of art's value determined by one specific mold that critics and academics have deemed substantial? So what if California Girls has the most generic poppy production with probably the most shallow lyrics a song can have? I mean, it's about white girls performing hoe activities. Literally nothing else to it. But you'll still catch me and my friends on the highway blasting that shit with the windows down like it's our national anthem, because it's just fun. My point is, Lazarus's main selling point being the vibes and how cool it is does not give it any less value as a piece of media. It just serves a different purpose. I think there's a separate, much larger issue that we have to look into here. Picture this. You're watching a show weekly, enjoying yourself, and you're curious what other people think of it, so you tune into some of the conversations taking place. Then you end up hearing the same shit about how Cowboy Bebop did this better, or Cowboy Bebop did that better. And you think to yourself, bro, just try to enjoy the show for what it is. Stop comparing it so much. So you feel compelled enough to make a YouTube video about it. You're scripting as the show continues to air weekly, and then about when episode 10 airs, you end up taking a little break to watch Jason the Ween meet his future wife. Oh fuck, Lazarus finished airing. I need to catch up. What the fuck am I watching? So now you're wondering how the fuck you're gonna defend this piece of shit while knowing these last 2 episodes exist. What I am gonna say is this. The flashiness and Hollywood blockbuster nature of the show that teetered the line of being ridiculous went completely off the deep end. Logic has now ceased to exist, and nothing can be taken seriously anymore. The 2 plotlines that were introduced episodes ago either had literally nothing to do with the main story, or are being rushed faster than Fortnite games on a school day morning. You've got big plot twists and turning points put within minutes of each other. These motherfuckers won't even give me time to breathe. Oh my god, we've turned off fall damage. This ending, my friends, is the definition of the phrase, doing too much. If they gave the plot a few more episodes to breathe, threw in a bit of foreshadowing and setup without dropping big plot twists that seem like they come out of thin air, remove the unnecessary plot lines or at least converge them to the main story, and tone down some of the ridiculous things happening on screen to a somewhat reasonable level of logic, then I probably maybe would have fucked with this ending. Lazarus is a fun watch with an interesting premise and incredible animation, art direction, and music. Lazarus is also a train wreck. I don't even know if I want to recommend this, but do as you will with the information I've provided. Alright, I should probably go look for a job now. See you guys soon.